What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a late night Tuesday into Wednesday edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube. Absolutely no regrets over today. Ended up being a really solid day of betting. That is for sure. Ended up hitting a bunch of picking cards in the premium Discord. Ended up firing up some goodness like, I don't know, an extra Kansas City -1.5 play. Just wanted a little bit of a booster here on top of that Kansas City money line play from yesterday. Nick Kurtz couldn't go yard for us. That was a bummer. But otherwise, a really good video here and really good night in the premium Discord. Man, wish Tyler Freeman didn't end up getting scratched. That's one of the best bats at avoiding strikeouts in the off spot in all of baseball. He gets scratched in Seattle there, and Bob Miller ended up being a decent spot to back, because if you just assume 30 minutes, 20 minutes before first pitch, that line is efficient, well, you remove a guy who has like a 10, 11% strikeout rate, you're probably in a really good spot having that over. But he ends up only going like 82 pitches, I believe it was. I was paying attention at dinner. So there is that. Shout out everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. I'm doing well here. Feeling really good about the process here. Also, just happy to be here with you, hanging out, talking betting. A lot of weird stuff going on in the world, and yet I'm just constantly blown away by how kind all of you are. The DMs, the messages, hey, I tailed you on this, I tailed you on that. I really appreciate it. Sometimes, you don't know what somebody's going through behind the scenes, and so just wanted to give you all a special shout out, because it meant a lot to me today, particularly to have a good betting day, to have some good stuff happen in the midst of, again, life. Life is something that happens. I love my wife. Everything's great. Everything's lovely. But overall, just a weird week for me personally. So feeling pretty good. Feeling much better here as, just taking care of myself. Taking care of myself. That's all. What am I getting at? Oh, yeah, let's get ourselves to some plays, shall we? Don't have a lot else to add here. That got weird. Got a little bit dark. Join the Lindy Discord, 50% off. We're recording this like at 1 a.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. Pacific, 50% off. Jump on in. I'm going to have some pick 'em. I did late night pick 'em last night, ended up cashing 2 of the 3 cards. Actually, no, it was one of the 3 cards there, and then had a prize picks card that is waiting on Jalen Hurts touchdown. And then we cashed an underdog card that ended up hitting for over 8x after the boost, and 6x if we played it straight up. Really good stuff overall. Feel good about that process. And check out J Metal Ken. I haven't talked about him too much here on the show, but this guy night before is just throwing hot fire in for people. He kind of runs the same pick 'em process as I do when it comes to how you put cards together, constructing 3-pick cards, 6-pick cards when you're looking at prize picks. There's just so many different iterations of how to go about it. Many ways to skin a cat, even though, if you know, I hate that analogy, but I know it's an NFL picture in front of you. But if you're looking to jump in for the MLB, I'm grinding it all the way through this regular season and all the way through the postseason. I think we did enough on Monday to show the people behind the scenes that we can do an awesome job throughout these MLB playoffs and get the goodness that we need to be able to do that. I'm excited for it. Use code Lindy NFL, friends. Sign up, $10 for a week at the Discord, just over $1 a day. Monthly, just under $1 a day. Would love to see you there. You made many dollars if you were there today. Let's get to the lead, shall we? Hit that like button for me if you could. Again, sorry, just got a little beat. I'm in my feelings. I'm feeling pretty good. Have some water. There are 3. Hit the wrong button. There are 3 stars. Elder, over 2.5 earned runs. F it, we'll do it live. Also, I think I took my mic off. Elder, over 2.5 earned runs. I'm very interested in this play. I'm very interested in props of this first game. In fact, we have 2 baseball games. The first 2 listed over on your left. I just didn't find anything I'm all that interested in yet, but I know that it's coming. Oh, I feel it coming. I think you could blindly play this over with Alvarez versus Elder, and I think you could also find some strikeouts from both of them. You could also find a ton of hitting props. I mean, Atlanta's just finding ways to be successful almost by accident at the end of this season. It's kind of a bummer because we know how talented they are. They just weren't healthy at the same time, and Profar did drugs. I mean, the steroid version, or no, it was like a intake, like anabolic or whatever he took. Whatever, he got suspended 80 games to start off the season, and Elder, well, Outside of Chris Sale, who was awesome, everybody else in this Atlanta starting group just sucks. Outside of Waldrop. Waldrop's been all right. Whatever. There's going to be a lot to mine out of this one, but Elder over 2.5 runs. Ooh, I want to play that one really, really bad, but I want to see Washington's lineup because they don't have a lot to play for. Obviously, they have 0 to play for. Neither of these teams do. These just yuck. I'm not even going to say the Braves suck because they don't. They just have terrible starting pitching. Maybe address that in the offseason with all the money you save by giving these guys ridiculously low contracts that somehow they sign. Michael Harris, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? San Diego money line here, Milwaukee versus San Diego. Your next game in the afternoon before we get to the evening window. This one is Patrick versus Cease. And obviously Milwaukee's still very interested in winning baseball games, even though San Diego's winning baseball games. But Dylan Cease, his outs prop routinely like 15.5, 16.5. I think if it shows back up there again for tomorrow, might have to pull the trigger. This is a Milwaukee lineup that is just overproduced all season long. And maybe it's coming back towards the mean when it's not in the middle of summer. There's other things like, I don't know, Southern California, it's still going to be warm enough and whatever else. And on the coast, especially like 110 when this game is going off. But overall, I just don't think that they have enough power. They don't have enough top to bottom. I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult unless they get absolute sublime performances in the postseason from Mizrowski, from Woodruff. So every team that has starters of that quality are pretty live, but like Andrew Vaughn leads this team in expected slugging at 486. It's a good number, but there are 4 bats on San Diego who have better numbers than that. Ramon Laureano, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, all 500 and above expected slugging. So like these massive outlier, Sal Frelick home runs, Bryce Terang, who's actually been pretty decent, much better than I expected him to be in the power department. Just saying, maybe some regression towards the mean for Milwaukee. I don't want to poo-poo them because they're one of the best stories in baseball, and I cheer for them personally, just as my NL grouping of guys that I want to cheer for. But I will say that they're not as talented as a San Diego roster, so it is what it is here. And the much better starting pitcher, that's why the price is what it is. Not going to play it for now. To the game of the day. Detroit, Cleveland, 99.9% to win the AL Central 15 days ago. Detroit has just gotten steamrolled, and Cleveland has taken advantage. They've gone for the jugular. I'm really mad. The one thing I'm mad about was not betting Cleveland and Gavin Williams and backing him against Skubal today. I know a lot of people in the premium Discord did, which I was very proud to see, because sometimes when you're looking at 2-3% edges, it's like, oh, I could bet those all day, but I end up keeping them off. I think this has got to be like one of those things where ball, you look at the screen, and you just back the team that cannot get out of their own way, and that is the Detroit Tigers. The Lions, kind of the other direction, looked really, really nice against Baltimore. Made me look a little silly, but Rays going up against Baltimore here. Caminero home run. They ended up having him and Brandon Lau removed early from that game today, and I mean, it wasn't even like crazy blowout yet. It became a blowout, but like 6-0 isn't like a crazy blowout by any means. Apologize, got stuff going on here. But anyway, Caminero home run. That's just something to be paying attention to here. Miami versus Philly. Philly by a million. By a million, friends. We got ourselves a weird one. A very, very weird one. And the more I look into it, the more I'm like, hey, Jesus Luzardo, Ryan Withers. Maybe some strikeouts on both sides of it. Because Ryan Weathers isn't actually a really, really good arm, but you're kind of getting a price to potentially go against him here with a Philly lineup that just, they hit righties, they hit lefties. They're going to hit everybody come October. This might be the team that I end up backing in some capacity. I backed him 2 years ago. It was the Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler year. Just sucks that Zach Wheeler got hurt as early as he did here because Kyle Schwarber is on another planet. Another planet. Maybe Alec Bohm can just keep this momentum going here, but whatever. White Sox taking on the Yankees, +1.5. Yankees, just absolute choke job. Ellard versus Fried. I've tried to bet against Max Fried. It has not gone very well. Frazier Ellard is not going to be very long for this one, but like he's not very good, so it's probably not a terrible thing if you're going to go to the +1.5. This is one of those overrides on data where it's just like, yeah, I get why +1.5 is the best of my data. Sometimes I just override and I write something else in different that I'm actually interested in betting by digging into it. But I thought I'd leave this one service for now. Want to see some of the weather here. We've been running pretty good in terms of rain, weather across the country here over the course of the last few weeks. So pay attention to it. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. I'm going to speed it up here a little bit here. Mets taking on the Cubbies and the Metsies. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Huge come from behind that they needed. They absolutely had to have it there in this spot. And, just a back and forth fiesta that they had there with the Cubbies and Wrigley. And it was supposed to be low scoring. No. 9-7 just went ballistic with the wind blowing in at Wrigley. Not something you see every day, but that's what happens when you have a Cubby who gets hurt early in that one. And ended up having to go full bullpen. Now that price is kind of caught up to it here, I think the Mets are pretty appealing. I could have gone a star for them, but as you can see, the triple star for Elder. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, but you can put a triple star. Buxton home run here up against God, I absolutely hate Texas so much here. We've got Jacob deGrom on the mound, but these are the kind of spots where, like, Byron Buxton, I know it's not in the data, but you're getting a price on him that you just can't get against other pitchers. And Jacob deGrom, while he's still been good against righties, he has not been lights out electric, like best in the history of baseball like he was 2 years ago. Obviously, he's not the same pitcher as he was 2 years ago, but as these teams dwindle down, keep in consideration that these teams that have very little to play for now going forward, they're going to limit guys like Jacob deGrom. You're going to be getting 3-4 innings of bullpens where you might have only been getting 2/3 innings of bullpens before. Something that I do like to try to find little small edges if the historical data does not match up with the last 10 data. But as you know about Arlington, I hate the ballpark. I just think it might be one of those spots. Buxton hits so many no-doubters that it doesn't matter. Colorado taking on Seattle. Seattle -1, -1.5. You probably know by now, T-Mobile. One time this year. Shout out Sportside Jacob, my guy over on X. Also entails just doing a fantastic job betting a lot more straight bets than what I do as far as like the money lines, as far as the outrights. Like, he's just one of those guys. That is his system. And he's got it. And he's got it down. And for me, I'm very prop centric, but I do like my outrights. Obviously, Kansas City, I ended up double dipping and getting to the -1.5 as well. This might be one of those spots where instead of going money line -1, -1.5, I go -1, -1.5 for a little bit of a booster. Seattle has a come from behind victory today. Obviously, Brown just went ballistic, but he got the 2 walks that we needed. We needed 2 walks. That was very helpful. You probably don't care. I care. Just pay attention. This is just one of those spots where I think we could find ourselves a little booster despite how tough this ballpark is to hit in. Castillo, I don't really like. Gordon, I really don't like whatsoever. So 2 pitchers I don't really like. Maybe we also fancifully find a way to correlate with an over. Arizona money line. What are the Dodgers doing? Geraldo Perdomo walk-off tonight. We got Snell versus Nelson. But Ryan Nelson's doing just enough with this fastball he just throws all the time. Kind of got me interested in the Arizona money line at plus money. Now, Blake Snell was just insane last time out. Goes back out, 7 strong, bajillion strikeouts. Did the outing that the Dodgers needed, and now Arizona money line's kind of the appealing side of this one. They need to completely win out. I think they had a 6% chance of getting into the playoffs. We'll see what that updates to tomorrow. Obviously, the Mets winning did not help them whatsoever. Cincinnati, that's another team that they're going to be paying attention to. If you want to know, Fangraphs does a great job with their playoff probabilities, as does ESPN. They throw them out there as well. Although remember, ESPN has a sports book. They are more interested in the sports book than they're worried about giving you good information on their screen. Always keep that into account. That's why I made fun of their stats page forever when I'm like, wow, you really don't understand how odds work. It would be like 57% to this team, 43% to this team, and yet it'd be -110 both sides. You obviously do not believe your own data. Anyway, St. Louis taking on the Giants, and not really interested in this game whatsoever. Robbie Ray, maybe some walks. Sonny Gray, not really going to pick on him. San Francisco -1 is the best available right now, but I'm not going to play it. Sanchez over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. He's been buried down the depth chart, even with no outfielders. Like, did you look at their outfields that they started today? It was egregious. Jacob Myers, the first outfielder, batting like 6th there. I guess Jose Altuve's played some outfield as well, so there's that. Played left field for a while, but they had just the dumbest outfield grouping. And I know it was Jeffrey Springs, a lefty on the mound, so obviously Jesus Sanchez, not somebody that they brought in to face a guy like that, but I'd move him up in the order if I were you. Obviously, it has not been a great tenure for him here with the Houston Astros compared to what it was for Miami. He got off to a hot start, but Yordan Alvarez injury, gotta have a lefty up there to keep certain teams honest. You just gotta. Putting him at 7 or 9, it's just been weird to look at in the Houston lineups. He's a much better player than that. Maybe figure your stuff out. But Luis Severino, he's let it be known how much he hates this ballpark. It'll be his last start in this ballpark here, probably ever. So shout out that. All right, y'all. Before we get ourselves to the plays, 50% off. Just want to remind you that, but that's not it. We have the premium Discord over at Tails, but we also have Tails. That's where you can sign up and you can provide the plays to the people. Be like Lindy, join Tails today. Sign up down below. Let us know what it is that you would like to do here at Tails, what it is that you could potentially add to our marketplace, what you could potentially do in the Tails streets. I would love to know. I would personally love to know. I see the emails. I see them come in. Sign up. Let me know. If you have an expertise, if you need to share something with the people, be like me. Join Tails today. Would love to have you in there. Alrighty, y'all. Let's get to the plays. We're doing the fast version tonight because, well, hanging out with the family. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we go to Pittsburgh plus 1.5 taking on Cincy. Paul Skeens mother trucker up. Last start of his day. Oh, he's plus money, Eric. You should probably be backing. No, we're not backing. Cincinnati needs to drop down and get their eagle on. My guy, LA's finest, Hunter Green, is on the mound. I've been in love with him since he entered the major leagues. He threw tons of fastballs. He also gave up tons of home runs then. He's found a way to limit those home runs. In fact, coming off the best outing of his year by far, billion strikeouts, complete game. He does have the 9.8% barrel percentage. He is a fly ball pitcher, but the ball hasn't been flying out of Cincinnati as much. And he doesn't do it fancifully. He just throws four-seamer, 100, slider like crazy, and split. Those are his three pitches. He's basically throwing an Ohtani arsenal, just throws the split finger a lot less for what it's worth. As for Skeens, he's incredible. He's awesome. He's also going to be marrying a chick who is way more successful than him, and she's cute too. I love my wife. Pittsburgh, though, must pay for their sins. Taking on Cincinnati at this short of a price, Skeens is not going beyond 6. There's no chance, 0% chance they let him go 7 innings, even at his final start of the year. With Bubba Chandler, what they've seen from some of these guys, Ashford, they are not going to risk anything here whatsoever. In Cincinnati, they need to go nutties. It's as good of a spot as you could possibly have for Hunter Green. He gets it done for us. Cincinnati money line. I want the entire thing. I want to get to the bullpens as well. I want to deal with the entire environment over 9 innings and just trim the variance. Boston on the run line here, taking on Toronto, Garrett Crochet and Max Scherzer. We have to look at regression towards the mean. Baseball is a sample size of 162 games, but pitchers usually pitch 1 every 6, 1 every 7 days. So, starting pitchers, that is. You have to trim that down. So they have a smaller sample size than most, but they also have stuff that just shows out like outliers. Garrett Crochet, in his last start, 9 strikeouts, but 2 home runs, 3 earned. Same thing, taking on Tampa, taking on the Yankees. 12 strikeouts, 2 homers, 3 earned. Oh boy, that's terrifying, right? I feel pretty good taking on a Toronto team where you neutralize some of those lefties. The Bargers, the Varshos, these are really good hitters. They end up having a Davis Schneider up there in the 2-hole a lot of the time. George Springer's had a great year, but I feel so much more comfortable with them facing lefties going forward, considering the 2 lefties of Barger and Varsho have to basically get demoted or completely out of the lineup. And yet I'm burying the lead. Max Scherzer is coming off the worst outing you could ever imagine for Max Scherzer. They lost 20-1 to Kansas City. He gave up 7 earned. He had just 2 strikeouts. But this is a Toronto team that still is trying to hold on to a 1 seed. Quick hook season. That's really what you could be in store for here. And coming off of a game that was pretty clean, 4-1, didn't have to go crazy with some of the relievers there in this spot. I think we are really, really looking at a spot where no matter what, you are aggressively trying to win this baseball game. If you're Boston, Toronto, and that screams under to me with these bullpens. You can play with the lefties on the Toronto side, lefties in the bullpen. Small's really good. Boston, they've had that all year. In fact, they're going to have AL reliever of the year. Shout out Greg Ehrenberg. There he is right there. We love ourselves. Boston, Toronto, under 7.5. Let's round it all out with Kansas City and the Angels, the Angels. Stephen Kolek, formerly of the San Diego Padres, is not my favorite back. Every time I look at his pitch mix, I wonder why he is in the major leagues. Why is that? Because nothing is all that appealing. He was a very touted young man, too, but he gives up hard contact. He throws a bunch of junk against the wall and tries to have something stick, or maybe it sticks to bats, but His breaking run value is terrible, yet Kansas City's starting to get something out of his fastball. They're starting to get something out of his off-speed run value. So I'm actually going to stay away from some of these Angels. I think it's actually a sneaky spot to back his strikeouts, which really haven't shown up in a prominent way on the season. Just 17.2% K rate, 48.8% hard hit. But I think last start, we could see him just try to get a bunch of swing and miss. And then Kansas City, they have nothing to play for. Let your young guy try to cook. And the Angels against a righty, we know how that goes. Highest strikeout rate in baseball. But Kikuchi, friends, yeah, he's giving up crazy hard contact to righties right now. This is just across the entire board, just insane what I'm getting to here. Over a 200 expected ISO against lefties. Does one Sal Perez have? Well, way over that. And then it's over a 200 expected ISO on the Kikuchi side. Kikuchi. The girl is hard to get. Looking at over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Been going to a lot of Vinny Pasquantino over the course of the last 2 months. It's been kind of I'm not going to call him a cash cow because he definitely makes you wait and sweat the entire game. Hey, Tyler Soderstrom didn't make us wait that long. Ended up on his hits plus runs plus RBIs. That was useful, my friends. Useful. Velotti. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here one more time for the people in the back. Join the Lindy Discord, 50% off using code LindyNFL. I know this is an MLB show, but I have that promo code going, so that is what it is. I had to make an arrangement to make sure Lindy NFL could be good to go. It is. Take advantage. Won't be here for much longer. And that does it for another edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely Wednesday hump day slate that we have before us. Awesome day in the premium Discord. Want to keep that rocking. Want to keep that rolling with you. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. And then, well, Wednesday night, going to be covering Thursday MLB. Going to be amazing. And Thursday night football. We'll talk about Arizona without James Conner going forward. It is Trey Benson season in some capacity. Had a couple plays that I posted on him already in the premium Discord, so check it out. Ended up on a little Kyler Murray as well. Till next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday. Let's have another great day. See you then. Bye.